So when Realme reached out to sponsor this video, describing their new mid-range phone in the realme C75 as unbreakable, obviously I was skeptical. I'm used to companies making bold marketing claims all the time, but their confidence in the phone did pique my interest, because at this lower price point, manufacturers have to make trade-offs, with one of the big ones often being durability, with them using weaker glass, weaker frames, and virtually having no water resistance. But the C75 here is different, with it not only using tougher materials, but it's also the first phone in this price range to have an IP69 rating. So to test that water rating, we're not just dunking it in water for a few minutes, but we're leaving it in this tank for a few days. 3 full days to be exact, where we'll get to see if the integrated foam seals and its waterproof structure can hold up. Where after 72 long hours, it looks like it does. The phone still seems to be fully functional. Obviously, you have to wipe the water off the screen first, but once you do, the touchscreen is fully responsive as if nothing happened. There are no leaks, no fogging in the cameras, and the speakers and microphone still work. So I'd say it's a pass in test number 1. But test number 2 here is going to be more difficult in the drop test, where we'll start off with the standard hip height drops at 1 meter, with the first one being straight on its back.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, so after the backdrop, the phone is still working. There's no damage to the screen, with the back panel on here looking pretty much unscathed. There are only a few light scuffs on the camera housing, as you'd expect, but overall, obviously a great result, and one of the big reasons for using plastic over glass if you're trying to build a tough phone. But let's move on to the next drop in the corner drop. After the 1 meter corner drop, the phone is still good. There's definitely scuffing on the frame, as you'd kind of expect, but I think the big story is the C75's integrated metal inner frame here holds up. Drop number 3, 1 meter face drop. After the face drop, okay, the phone didn't shatter. In fact, it didn't even crack. There's a bunch of concrete debris on it from our concrete block, but after wiping it off, the screen underneath looks good, which is really impressive. Realme says they're using what they call armor shell glass, which is reinforced with upgraded materials like infused aluminum borate. Plus, it's got that raised ring that goes around the perimeter, and it has that factory installed screen protector, which allows us to go on to the next phase of this drop test at a higher 1.5 meter height. Starting off again with a backdrop. Alright, so even after the 1.5 meter drop, it's pretty much the same result as before, with the phone still remaining fully functional. Drop number 5, 1.5 meter corner drop. So while we get some more scuffing on the frame, the glass on the screen is still fully intact. That much pressure on a single point can sometimes crack a phone's glass internally, but with the internal foam padding that surrounds components like the midframe, the camera, the vibration motor, etc., the C75 here is still going strong. But now it's time for the drop we've been waiting for, 1.5 meters straight onto its face. And the screen is still fully intact. Now, this is impressive on any phone, let alone a mid-ranger, with no shattering and no cracks whatsoever. Obviously, the factory installed screen protector is pretty chewed up at this point, but it did its job. It helped the phone survive, with the glass underneath it looking pretty much flawless. So, at least as tested, it's a pass in the drop test. So with the water and drop test out of the way, I wanted to try one last crazy test which kind of combines both of them, tossing a fresh C75 into a washing machine and then running a cycle. Now admittedly, this is not one of the most realistic tests out there while also being super hard on the phone, since not only is it getting wet, which we know it can handle, but it's also getting thrown around with hundreds of impacts on those metal fins. Stopping the machine mid-cycle so we can check on the phone, and the phone is still working. That factory installed screen protector is pretty beat up, and you can see some scuffs along the frame, but as far as I can tell, the phone remains fully functional, so we'll keep on going. Where this test is getting harder by the minute, with there being not only more impacts, but also less water in the machine as it starts to drain and start the spin cycle, where after suffering repeated blows and going on a ride with one final drop, the phone is still intact, with the LCD showing no signs of damage. Obviously, the frame has now gotten really chewed up, with it even being bent along some of the edges, so it's definitely not a perfect result, but the cameras still work, there's no fogging, and after removing the screen protector, that display underneath still looks clean, or at least the part of it that was protected, so I'd say it's another pass in test number 3. But obviously, there's more to a phone than just durability. And despite its super low price point, the realme C75 has a couple of neat features. With a 90Hz display, it's got some pretty loud speakers in what they call 400% Ultra Boom. It has the largest battery in its class with a 5,828 mAh unit, and it's powered by the Helio G92 Max chip with 8GB of RAM with up to 16GB of dynamic RAM. And of course, with it almost being 2025, it's got some AI in here, with Realme adding their AI Clearface algorithm, which tries to help save your blurry photos by using generative AI to enhance the clarity, which could be useful in a pinch. But I'll be dropping a link down below in the description if you want to learn more about the phone. Otherwise, that is it for me in this video. Big thanks to Realme for sponsoring it and letting us do these crazy stunts. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the very next episode.